Okay. So thank you for coming to our meeting. This meeting is for group leaders specifically. I wanted to hear some of you guys' plans, along with what type of idea you guys are trying to forward with each group. So what I'm trying to ask you is, we have our idea due date by the 30th. Everyone know that, right? The 30th?
Yes. Yep.
By the 30th, I want you guys to have either a sketch or a very solid idea you guys are not going to deviate entirely from. Starting with Junso, what's your plan to actually achieve this goal by the 30th? Like, are you gonna reach out to each student? Are you going to maybe talk during one of our meetings? Like, what's your plan, Junso?
I was about to discuss this with Michael today, but I was thinking about holding a meeting sometimes next week and before the meeting, I'll ask them to come up with like maybe one idea of how we're gonna like mechanism maybe, and discuss that about a meeting, and maybe Michael and I can maybe like email them about this and maybe like send them Discord chat about this. Yeah, so I was planning to do that.
Yes, and I want to clarify something.
Mhm.
How are we supposed? So, in which direction do we want the wrist to move? Because
Um,
do you want to go side to side, up and down, or
Not up and down.
So
Okay,
left and
so
right, I think.
it's okay.
Left
So
and
you can see my wrist, right?
Yeah,
It's like this motion.
that's how we want to move.
Yeah,
Mhm.
not up and down, not that part. We want to make sure they can move their wrists like this.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
And we're making for this, right? Not tension.
No, not tension.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you weren't here for this, so let me just re-clarify with some of your designs, and let me just put this as like a guideline too. Our mentor strongly recommended try to stay away from tension force. Not only is it a little bit hard to control for these patients, we can't let our patients have full control of their body. You might think it's, wait a minute, don't we want them to have full control? Yes, but then here's the thing. These patients don't exactly have the best control of their arms or their fingers. So we don't want that specific side of their body to control the tension force, because what if the patient's like trying to stretch it, but he freezes midway, but then since he can't control his fingers, tension just instantly spazzes his hand up. Something that's
we want some more rich.
For sure something you guys want to avoid. So one thing I meant to recommend it was having like a stationary device where everything is machine handled motion. So just keep that part in mind.
For fingers, are we trying to do like the closing or like trying to open it, like, or both? Both at
We
once?
need it to close and then open.
Just the four or the thumb too?
Well, if you can do the thumb, that's very good. Okay.
For the wrist, I was thinking about having like a wheel on the side of this
wheel?
and like a turning wheel, so they can control like the angle of the turning, turning points. So so the patients can actually control the angle or something. But I'm not sure.
Okay.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
More along the line, since we want to go back and forth. I was thinking we could just have almost like, I don't want to call it a clamp because it's not going to clamp. Just something that, I can't really think of a good word for it, but it's just something that grabs their wrist and pushes it one way and the other, and it just has little bars that can control how far it pushes.
I think that's also a good idea.
Okay. Alrighty. Those are some good ideas. But yeah. By specificity of the finger grip, what are you guys thinking?
That's kind of weird with because you want to open, like close and then open both ways, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not exactly asking you guys for a design right now.
Yeah, I know. It's just a little hard to
contact them.
Yeah, I mean, I have a vague idea, but I was hoping to ping the Discord members this weekend, maybe try and get like a short, small outline of my idea, like a little sketch, and see if they can modify it or just use it as an example to come up with their own ideas. I was thinking of, you know, the poles that you had on the original design,
Yeah.
possibly the pole that's farther up, possibly having that one going back and forth and maybe having some sort of clamp with the fingers to where it would bring it down and back up. Something like that, or something along those lines, but I'm not entirely sure if it needs to be, I guess, like at a curvature or just straight, depending on like how the fingers bend. So we need to test that first.
Okay.
But something like that.
Okay, that's good. At least you have a starting point. Okay, one thing I want to try and avoid is having a bunch of ideas, because when there's a bunch of ideas, we can't really focus on which one to exactly do. It's a little bit hard for a mentor to give him like just a bunch of ideas to handle at once. And, you know, then he'll go like, oh, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good, you know. So what I want you to guys do specifically as group leaders is to actually come up with one solid design. It doesn't have to be multiple. Now, one reason, one method I would prefer or recommend to you guys is actually holding one of like our meetings. So what I was planning to do was next Thursday, you know, since Thursdays are kind of like our weekly meeting day, next Thursday, maybe I can split you guys into 2 breakout rooms, one for specificity of the finger, one for specificity of the wrist. And then the group leaders, you guys will take charge and see what you guys, you know, do what you guys want to do. If you want to prepare like a slideshow presentation like I do, that's fine. If you want to grab like a sketch, you know, just quickly draw it and screen share it, that's also fine. Or maybe you want to do a little bit more analytical thinking and go like, okay, what's some maybe things we can test out, or what's some models we can prepare, or things like that. I was planning to do that. Do you guys think that's that works with you guys' plans?
Sounds good, I think.
Okay. Because starting from now on, we'll actually, I know a lot of our club beforehand was a lot of thinking, and, you know, if we had this design, if we used to do this, if we had a prototype. Now, from now on, it's no longer that anymore. We have to have a design. We have to have a solid idea by 30th. We have to have a design by the February. We have to get into 3D modeling, and then we have to get a prototype. So, you know, so obviously, people who have high ambitions and, you know, who are excited for this, it's good news for you. But I just want you guys to know that starting from now on, you'll actually have to produce results, and that those results are specifically going to be implemented into our device. So basically, I'm trying to say like the stakes are higher, basically. Okay, so that's for planning. We'll have weekly breakout room meetings. You guys can do whatever you guys want. Make sure each group leader discuss what you guys' plans are. Junso with Michael, Ethan with Jake. So now that we have what to do set, or how we're gonna do it, what type of ideas are you guys leaning forwards to? And let's actually go this one by one. I don't want you to give me like a very specific information. Just try to give me some like general information, just so that I can like quickly decide like, oh, you should try to pursue that, you shouldn't try to pursue that. So like, let's start that with Junso. What type of idea are you leaning forwards to?
I'm thinking about having like a fixed point where like where almost like here, fixed points where they can put like place their like palm, or like this side, not until fingers, but like until halfway to the hand, and having like a Velcro over it. And maybe, I don't know which mechanism I should use to like turn the wrist yet, but I was thinking about having them like stationary on like fixed points with a Velcro, and then turn it like in different angles.
Okay. How about you, Michael? What type of idea are you leaning towards to?
Well, I was thinking of something where the patient could, it's like a machine where the patient puts their elbow down on like a pillow or a pad or something, and then something clamps their hand and pushes it back and forth so they get wrist motion like that. Possibly be able to control how far it gets pushed by using some kind of gear system, but I haven't really worked that out yet, and I don't know if it would be necessary. But that's my idea.
Okay. How about you, Jake?
Yeah, kind of like what I mentioned earlier, just utilizing the pole that you drew and just trying to figure out, most likely attach a clamp to it that would clamp to the fingers. I just need to figure out if it would be better to like pull the fingers at a curvature, or if it works in just a straight line, or whether or not we need to rotate the pole. Just all those little things. But generally just using the pole.
Same for like me, like the pole, and then probably like either the clamp or Velcro, and then probably what I was thinking is like your hand's like this, but then your pole sits here, and then you turn the pole, and the Velcro and the clamp pull it, so then the fingers kind of contract, but then so like it gets, because it's kind of weird with the fingers how you have to do that, but then probably to expand, I haven't thought of that yet.
Okay. So, okay, cool. So I've generally heard your ideas. Now, from now on, I want to ask you, what do you exactly plan on doing next Thursday? As in, like, what do you exactly want to do on next Thursday? And is there anything you specifically need?
Something we need?
Yeah. Like, is there a specific resource from like our mentors that you might need?
I don't think we need any resources yet. We're definitely going to want to have breakout rooms with everyone. There's nothing that you need to do for us. I guess we could make drawings and develop ideas on our own, and perhaps even meet with one another on our own, if you're up with that. But I don't particularly need any resources at the moment.
Okay, that's good to hear. Is there anyone who doesn't know about anything? Or I mean, is there anyone who's kind of like clueless right now? Like, hey, I don't really know what to do for next Thursday. Is there anyone who kind of needs help right now? And it's fine if you say so. It's better to do this now than to do it on next Thursday.
I think we're all good.
Okay, everyone's all good?
I think so.
Okay. Okay, so that takes care of that. One of the main reasons why I put you guys into meeting today is because I wanted to go over some, how should I word this? Mentor recommendations. Let's just put it that. So I showed him, see, the reasons why I didn't exactly tell you guys, tell the group the feedback for the stationery design is because he had recommendations rather than criticism. And, I just wanted to take that and then, give it to you guys now. So first of all, spasticity of the wrist. I have a small PowerPoint plan, so let's quickly go over that. I'll just tell you guys in general some feed recommendations he gave us as we start developing our final designs. Okay, don't worry guys, it's just a small PowerPoint. It's just gonna go over some things our mentor gave us. Okay. First of all, for the spasticity of the fingers, that's Jake and Ethan. Universal design for both left and right hand users. The reason why he proposed this is because the specific design, the stationery design with the poles onto it, that isn't really universal for both left hand and right hand.
Yeah, that's true.
And 2, easy fitting. Easy fitting is one of the most important that can be easily overlooked, because we can have all the complicated designs we want that perfectly works. But if the patient can't put it into their hands or put it onto her hands, it's no use. 3rd, it needs to open the hand and close the hand. Is everyone clear on that one? Ethan, Jake? Because the two-pole system, let me grab 2 pens just to show you guys. So the two-pole system, it can, let's say it's retract, and these are the 2 poles. It can help you retract or open your hand, but how's it going to close it? That's another variable you have to consider. And fourth, stretching all fingers. One of the things our mentor said was, hey, how about the thumb? And I said, we don't exactly have a plan for that yet. And he said, that's something you really want to consider because, as you know, humans use all 5 fingers. So just keep that in mind.
By stretching, you mean like opening the hand and like trying to pull the fingers as far back as possible? Like, what do you?
No. Think of it as these patients have 0 force on their hands. They have 0 control of their hands. Think of it like that. So the machine needs to move their hand for them and close it for them. Do you get what I mean?
He means it works on all the fingers.
Yeah.
It just focuses on all of them, yeah.
Yeah. And the patient doesn't have any control of their hand. Or even if they do, it's very little and it's risky for them to actually close it by themselves. So the machine needs to open it for them and the machine needs to close it for them. Is everyone clear on that part?
I have a question on that regard.
Yeah.
So would it be impossible to like do some sort of strap for the fingers or like maybe a Velcro strap? Would that be possible? Or no? Would that be too difficult for them to use?
Yeah, it would be a little bit difficult them to use. Velcro strap, like as in like each finger?
Yeah, because I mean, not necessarily each finger, but I'm just thinking like, I guess a normal sort of glove type of thing would be kind of impossible because they don't have the coordination to put their fingers in it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing he mentioned with. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
An idea on the glove thing. Instead of putting a glove on, what if you just stuck your hand on something and a cover would go on it with all the, I don't know what mechanism you would use, but you just need to put your hand down and then something would go on top of it instead of having to put it inside of something.
Michael, that's an excellent idea. Very, very good. I'm sorry I can't answer your question yet. You'll see in like 5 minutes why I can't. But don't worry, we'll get to that later. Specifically the wrist, you need to make sure you have universal design for both right and left hand users. It shouldn't be as much of a problem. And 2, design secures the arm into one place. So it needs to be secure, okay? If it's wiggling around, I guess a little bit of wiggle space is good, but you don't want to have no protection for the arm, okay? You want to have at least some protection so that they can slip it in and, have their arm secure in there. And 3rd, extension of wrist to the degree which is favorable. This is trying to say, basically, your wrist has to move all the way this way and all the way a little bit backwards. Everyone clear on the movement we have to have.
Mm-hmm.
Wrist needs to move this way, that way, and view it from the top. This way, that way. And fingers open, close, open, close. And all of this movement have to be done by the actual device itself. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
No patient input. And 4, sustain target position. This is trying to say like, how if you have like a sore part of your body, one way to do it is by stretching.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it kind of like that. Sometimes these patients might have muscle paralysis. So what they might have to do is go to this position and hold it there for maybe like 30 seconds, go back, hold it 30 seconds, go back.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. Is everyone clear with the movement?
Yes.
Okay. So I feel like our mentor has given us quite a lot of info, but then one of the things our mentor and our doctor gave us was some kind of a starting point. I've prepared 2 3D models for you guys. I'll share in this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to think that just because there's the most basic model, it's over. That's definitely not true. You guys have to put in work to make sure that the model actually functions. The models are just a very basic idea. Okay, got that?
Got it.
This is something okay. Just to give into your perspective, this is something I This is something I made 3 a.m. while having a call with a doctor and quickly sketching things on Autodesk at like 3 a.m. Got it? So don't think that everything's done, okay? These models are incredibly easy to make, so you guys will have to maybe duplicate them or add onto this model later. So please, please, please don't look at these models and think, oh, we're done with 3D modeling. This is very, very basic, some basic structures that I built 3 a.m. while I'm being phoned with a doctor.
Wait, for Autodesk, like, is it what do we? Because I was trying to look at it. Do you have to pay for it? Like, what is or like you just get the free?
If you go to school and like ask for the IT guy to download it, they'll download it for you.
Yeah, and one other thing, Autodesk 2018 Professional is free for all students in U.S. territory, which means if you put your school info, it should let you do it. Don't worry, I'm going to go over this when we first start 3D modeling. I'm just showing you guys 3D modeling so you guys can have a little bit easier of a time. But don't worry about 3D modeling yet. But hey, if you do want to pursue it a little bit earlier so that you can teach it to your students a little bit faster, that's fine. When you type it into your Google search bar, try to look up Autodesk Inventor Student or something with student at the end of it. And then there should be an information board where you can apply to be a student and you'll fill in your school info and credentials. And if that doesn't work, you can ask for a school. The school will give it, just download it to your computer for free. You don't have to buy anything. Please don't buy anything. But if installation is an issue, just contact me right away. I'll try to make sure to go over installation issues and Autodesk issues maybe in beginning of March. So with that said, let me go over these very basic CAD files. Okay, there we go. Okay, can everyone see my screen perfectly?
Yes.
It's quite important. Okay. So this is specificity of the wrist. That's for Junso and that's for Michael. You might be seeing this box and you might be thinking, what the heck is this? This looks really weird. Well, I'll try my best to explain it to you guys. So first of all, let me put you guys on the left so it's a little easier to navigate. Okay, so this is the top view. And you might be thinking, what does each square and circle stand for? Okay, so Michael and Junso, can you see this circle I'm trying to like highlight?
Yep.
That's where that's where the patient is going to place their hand. And since I'm viewing this from the top of your palm, like this circle is going to be on the top. So it's going to be resting exactly like that. Got it?
Yep.
And you can change the dimensions of the circle. You can make it a square. If you guys want to see, it's actually hollow inside. And that's what the specificity of the risk department is going to focus on. How do we make it so that the patient can control moving this circle? That's one variable for you guys, specificity of the risk. Got it?
Wait, what is circle for again? You didn't
Circle is where you put
The
your
circle
hand.
represents where the hand goes.
Yeah.
For the wrist.
I think
The hand?
that's an interesting idea. It could be like a turntable. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
See?
a quick thought. Something
Yeah.
on the bottom with gears that pushes it one way, and a clamp on the hand which holds it in place, so only the wrist moves for now. I mean, like
Exactly.
the fingers are uninterrupted, and the wrist can go back and forth.
Exactly. Yeah. See, that's what one thing I was talking about. Junso, do you? Okay, so it looks like Michael perfectly gets it. Junso, do you kind of get the circle thing?
So we're putting the wrist there?
No. So okay, so imagine your hand like this, like this, and let's say this is a surface. I'm just placing it right there like that. So
Oh.
so if you think of a fist, Think of it as putting it down like that.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
So if the end of my camera screen is the actual device looking from the front like this, I'm going to put it down like that.
Okay.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So obviously this design is very, very crude. So the two things I really want to emphasize to you guys is, first of all, how are you going to make this circle turn with the patient's design? You might have to put a motor if that's what you wish. You can put a gearbox in there or something like, oh, hey, how about what if we put a rotating dial or maybe a button that on and off or left and right? That's one thing you guys have to consider. Are you guys both clear with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alrighty. So that's one variable you'll have to talk with your students and be like, okay, guys, do you guys want to put a motor? Do you guys want to do this or that? That's one part. A second part is the clamping. Now, what are these weird looking squares for? That's a good question. That's for clamping in your actual hand or like your actual arm, this part. Do you guys get it?
Yep.
And there's multiple ways to do it. Like, oh, what if we just make it so that there's a lever and all you have to do is close it, like maybe a third service, or maybe something like, oh, hey, how about we put motors here or a little bit of hinges so that it can collapse down on your hand. There's many, many options, okay? That's one thing you guys will have to discuss with your members and try to figure out, hey, what's the best way we can do this? Are both of you guys clear on the two major components you guys have?
Yes.
You guys will have a little bit of a harder role than the specificity of the finger because you guys, the main focus is divided into two parts, but I'm sure you guys can figure both out great. Okay, so both of these sections, specifically the wrist section, are you guys fine with it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, I'll try to download this and give the files to you guys, maybe as just a regular 3D model so you can open it with any computer. But do try to install Autodesk a little bit earlier ahead of the students, just so that you can play around. Junso, do you know how to use Autodesk?
Can I learn it in robotics club?
Okay, that's good. How about you, Ethan or Jake? Do any of you guys know it? And Michael too.
I haven't used Autodesk, but I've used like another 3D software before.
Okay.
I haven't used any before.
Same with me.
Okay. So that's the wrist department. Again, just to tell you guys, this sketch is very crude. You guys will have to start filling in and you can even create a new design. So, you know, there's your spark of creativity there. Now, a little bit hard, specificity of the fingers. Now, specificity of the fingers, the compartment is especially hard because you're thinking, how do I open this hand but also close it without putting intricate exoskeletons? Because if it was something like an exoskeleton they can wear all the time, Jake, your idea for doing something like Velcro is perfect. But this is more of a rehabilitation machine. Exoskeletons are a little bit hard to make. There's so many movements and adjustments you have to account for. So here's one very, very basic sketch, okay? Let me share my screens with you guys. Okay, can you guys see this thing over here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So you might be asking, what the heck is this? Well, first of all, do you guys remember the circle?
Mm-hmm.
It's the circle from the specificity of the wrist part, where this is where some patient will put their hands in. And you might be asking, what are these two half-cut cylinders? Well, here's one of the recommendations our doctor gave us and something that I implemented into what our mentor said. So how does this actually work? Well, first of all, this is a very basic design. It's incomplete. But the general gist of it, and Jake and Ethan, try to pay attention because this is, it took me a long time for me to understand this, is that let me try to grab a circular object. There should be. Okay. So this pen. So let's say there is something thick for the patients to hold. What they're gonna do, what the patients are gonna do, is they're gonna hold onto this circle. Now, the variations of the circle can change. It could be something like an oval, or maybe a square, or maybe a grip pad. It could be something like a pilot control, anything. It can be anything that the person grasps. And what these two things will do is when these two things separate, it's going to open the fingers. And now you might be asking, oh, well, how do we close it? Well, I told you this design was incomplete, but in fact, there will be a cover for each of these two, cylinders, basically. Do you guys understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I think so. So like it expands to open, right? And then something keeping the
Holds it.
fingers in place would, when it closes in, the fingers would close in with it, basically.
Yeah, I couldn't exactly do it because that's a very complex CAD model, and I couldn't do it
I
instantly.
understand what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah, but think of it like kind of like a oval, or like an opening, and the patients all they have to do is just split in their fingers, and it's gonna move. Do you guys kind of understand it?
Yeah, I think so. And then on the topic of Velcro from earlier, do you think we could use that as something to hold the fingers in place
I think we
for when it
can.
closes?
Here, give me 1 second. What do you exactly mean by Velcro? Here, let me look
Yeah,
at it.
okay.
Like-
So let's see.
Like the sticky adhesive things?
Yeah, so like,
Because they have there's like
like
things-
Velcro straps,
'cause
right?
you can
Yeah.
pull it apart, so then it's completely open. Then you can put your hand in. Then you just close it together.
Yeah, that's what
So
I was
it's not like
thinking.
a sleeve or anything. You just put your hand in, then you close the Velcro.
Yeah, since sleeves are kind of hard with the specificity.
So this one, like the Velcro we're talking about, is you can completely open it. It's separate, and then you just put your hand in, and then you just close the Velcro afterwards.
Yeah.
So there's no sleeve you're putting it in or
Um,
anything. You just put your
Okay,
hand.
yeah. That's one thing you guys can discuss too. But one thing with Velcro though is Velcro is kind of like how should I say this? A little bit intricate. It may be a little bit too intricate, but I will ask that question to our mentor and see if they're fine
Yeah.
with Velcro. It's because if there's multiple Velcro straps, patients might have trouble like actually putting that thing inside their hand. Because without the hand, the Velcro will kind of just be loose, and there might be not enough opening, but I'll try to see around that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we
And,
might find something else, but
Yeah. And here, let me share back this screen. And one thing else was on collapsible cover. I'm sorry I couldn't cat the cover. Right after this meeting, I'll maybe call you guys later, a couple hours later, and be like, okay, this is what our mentor meant. But our mentor also talked about having collapsible covers, meaning that here, like this, it generally like this, the covers are going to be opening up, but so that the patients can put their hands in. So once the patient puts their hand in, the collapsible covers drop down.
Mm.
okay.
You guys kind of get what I mean?
Kind of, yeah.
So everything is automated because the fingers part, I personally, I don't really also have a good perception of how sensitive we have to be. That's why I was going to ask about Velcro things, because we don't know how sensitive these fingers are or how much maneuverability they have.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to. So one of the doctors that mentioned was make sure make sure it's as automated as possible, so that the patient does the least amount of work, basically.
All right, I understand that.
Do you guys kind of get the collapsible cover part?
I mean,
think-
somewhat. I'm just trying to wrap my head around how we could design that and like what shape it should be.
Yeah. Don't worry about that part. That part you guys can, maybe talk with their students. This is of course just a very, very basic design. The purpose of these two models is just to like guide you guys in case you didn't have like solid idea to start with. This is something you guys can go off of and then talk with their students and be like, okay, guys, let's split into two groups. One for the shape we want these ovals to be in, and one for the collapsible covers. You kind of get the gist what I'm trying to like start with.
Mhm.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely understand that fingers part, it's a little bit more intricate. So Ethan and Jake, are you guys free in like 2 hours? So when do you guys usually eat dinner?
Varies.
I don't have
Okay.
a set time.
How about today at like 7? Are you guys are able to do like a quick 5-minute call today at 7?
Yeah, 5 minutes should be fine.
Yeah, if it's short, yeah.
Okay. I'll try to contact my mentor just one more time, ask him some few questions, and then try to remodel this a little bit better so you guys have a better understanding.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Just
Yeah,
ask
don't
about the
worry.
strapping mechanism. That's probably the main thing.
Yeah. And I think I'm also going to ask the local doctor too and see what she thinks we should have covering. So with that said, thank you very much for coming to our meeting. Specifically the finger part, I'll contact you around 7 p.m. But yeah, rest of you guys are free to go. Thank you so much. Good luck with the whole designing process.
All right.
Remember, deadline is 30th, so make sure to do it till then. But yeah, good luck, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Jacob,
Thank you.
Yeah.
can you go back to the wrist, Cat?
Of course. Do you still have a little bit of a hard time understanding it?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
So I
That's fine,
understand,
that's
like, where the wrist, like, this place, like, here, rest. I understand that, but, like,
Here, let me actually try to find you a box quickly so I can show you exactly what I mean. Give me 1 second. This should be good. Okay, so can you see me?
Mhm.
Okay, let me share my screen with you too. So you see this box thing, right?
Mhm.
Now think of this box as here. Let me turn off my green screen so you can see this a little bit better. Okay. So you see this box right now that I'm holding?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so think of this box is equal to this box I'm showing you. So I'm kind of like holding the same direction. You see that?
Mhm.
The top
Yeah.
of this box
Mhm.
is this side, okay? The blue part, got it?
Okay, got it.
So the patients will have their hand like this. All they're going to do is put their hand like that.
Mhm.
And this is the circle part, the wrist and the hand.
All right, I got that.
You got it?
Mhm.
So as the circle rotates, they'll be able to move their wrist.
But if they do that, if the circle, like, understand how you want to, like, move the circle so they can, like, change the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have to stable their, like, this part of their arm with that
See,
too.
you're right.
Box.
That's why the doctor, or at least our mentor, told us not to put it in our center. Because here's the thing: if this is a circle, here's the thing. Here, let me try to show you on a sketch over here. So you see the circle, right?
Mhm.
We're not going to put the contraption in the middle. We're actually going to put it a little bit on the end.
Okay.
If it's on the end, it has that wrist circumference that's like covering it. Do you see what I mean? If the circle's in the middle, if we place our arm in the middle of the circle, you're right. We can't really do much of anything. But if we place it at the end, so let me draw a quick sketch over here. So let's say the patient is going to hold a grip, okay, or a pull. And let's just put it as 0.5. So the patient is going to hold this pull.
Mhm.
If I finish this sketch and extrude this, let's say 4 inches, then look at that. The patient can grab it and the circle, they can move it. You see what I'm saying?
I'm worried that they will stress, like, the wrist because, you know, when the circle spins, the pull actually goes towards the like the wrist, right? They come.
Yeah,
in,
of
right?
course. Okay, yeah. Okay, that type of human movement is impossible. The pole will only move something like 20 degrees.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this pole will only move around here.
So we need to bend like what 80 degrees?
No.
Okay.
The pole's only going to move something like from, let's say like this, the pole's only going to move like 20 degrees to the left and 10 degrees to the right. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get what I mean?
And the pole might be the like half spear thing you explained for the fingers, right?
Yeah. The pole is just a simplification, but in reality, the pole will be replaced by the specificity of the finger mechanism.
Okay, got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay, any more questions?
No.
Okay, well, take care. Thank you for coming to the meeting.
Thank you.